Hello again, world, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Top Split. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and this is where we try to bring you a little news, views, and other interesting bits and pieces from the iRacing world. Well, we're back. It's been a few weeks since the last episode, primarily due to the festive season break, of course, but also due to a little family holiday that we took in the last couple of weeks. It was a close run thing, but when it came to choosing between the podcast and evacuating to sunnier beach type places, well, I think you know what won out there. But we're back now, and I'm certainly excited to try and build some more momentum on the great start we had with the first couple of episodes. Again, I'd like to thank everyone that took the time to download and listen to them. The response was well in excess of what I'd laid out as my own goals, and it was really gratifying. I think this episode builds on that even more, and it was a lot of fun at the same time. So I'll start getting into it. Today, my guest was iRacing Twitch streamer extraordinaire, Mr. Matt Malone of Grip TV fame. Without exaggerating, I'd suggest he's the top iRacing streamer from my own experience watching his stream, I can see why. He's very entertaining and fun to engage with. Prior to talking to Matt, I'd had dabbled a little and watched a little streaming, but I really was interested to hear his thoughts on what it's like to put yourself out there in that way, and just his thoughts and insights on streaming more generally as well. I must say again, it was a lot of fun, and we went a couple of places I wasn't quite expecting with it, but we were all the better for it. It was great. So without any further delays, I'll give you Mr. Matt Showdown Malone. First off today, I'd like to welcome, back to the Top Split, Mr. Matt Showdown Malone. It's great to have you back, mate. I say back because we had a crack at this the other day and technology stifled us a bit. But thanks for coming back, mate. I'm really grateful for your time.
Hey, Alex, great. Glad to be back, and I'm excited.
Thanks, mate. Of course, I'm here to talk to you about Twitch streaming. So first off, how did the stream go today?
Oh, the stream went pretty dang good. We got the Porsche today, so that was exciting. The servers went down for about an hour, and we were waiting for the website to come back up so everybody could jump in there and throw their $12 in and start driving the Porsche. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think people will be pretty keen for that. I remember when the Formula Renault came out and every man and his dog was screaming around in those things in week 13. And the first season of them got a bit hectic. I wonder how the first season of the Porsches will go.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I can only imagine.
So I came across you and your stream when I was sort of tinkering or toying with the idea of doing a bit of streaming myself through the YouTube tutorial that you put up, covering some of the basics and I guess what you might call not so basics of the streaming. You had things in there like the open broadcast software, OBS, and Kutu apps and what have you. For me, it was really helpful to get started with. It was a great tutorial. I used it to help me have a bit of a crack at streaming and also to record some of my live races with OBS. My point is, I guess, that your tutorial was something that helped me get started with my interest in streaming. But I was interested to know how you got started and what led you to get started.
Was it been like over 3 years now, probably, that I actually found out about iRacing. Before then, I was playing some Forza Motorsports on the Xbox, and I just wanted something more serious. So I started looking around, found iRacing, and as you know, iRacing, pretty small community, so you end up getting to know the guys that you race with, and come to find out some of these guys were streaming their races on Twitch, and I'd never heard of Twitch, so I checked it out, and sure enough, there's a whole another aspect of gaming community there, and it's just really cool that aspect of racing and broadcasting and seeing yourself on streams And I thought, well, heck, I'm going to try doing this. I thought it'd be a good way to bring people into the stream and race with them and stuff like that. And boy, it worked. I'd have to say the community's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was it like when you got started? I mean, in terms of, like I said, I found you through the YouTube tutorial that you did. But for you, what was it like finding information? I mean, were you trailblazing, as it were, trying to find information, or was it relatively easy to come by?
It depends on how involved you want to get. As far as like learning how to actually stream on Twitch, I just went through the basic tutorials. But iRacing kind of has like its own aspect of overlays and extra information that you can have on the stream. So with that kind of stuff, mostly the iRacing community helped me out, like Q2 with his apps and stuff like that. But yeah, most of it was just trying to figure it out all myself and, trial and error kind of stuff.
Wow, so trailblazing full on then. But do you think it's any easier now?
I would say it's probably a little bit easier now to get started streaming iRacing, just because there are so many resources out there and a lot more people stream iRacing now. So there's more people to go to ask questions. And the software has gotten much better with OBS Studio now that replaced the old OBS. It's much easier to get started and get going. And I think the quality's a lot better. And maybe your hardware wasn't up to snuff before. And I think the new OBS makes it a little bit easier on people with potato rigs.
Potato rigs. I haven't heard that one before. I'll have to use that. We generally call them toasters down here, but yeah.
Oh, toasters. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
So, from your streaming originally, you've now got the whole Grip TV thing going on. How did that come about?
So Grip TV got started after we met some people online, started racing with them. Jimmy Broadbent, co-founder of Grip TV, along with myself, way back. He's really big on YouTube, even was back then. And we got together and we thought, what would be a really good way to both stream our races, get involved with the community, but keep the competition on the track where it belongs, and don't bring all that competition into Twitch, because it can be very competitive place with the view count and this and that and the other thing. And so we decided, well, let's just form kind of like a stream team and make it Grip TV. So then we could all like share our experiences on stream. We can advertise each other's stream on each other's stream, if you get what I'm saying. And so
absolutely.
It became just like a network, like a simulated racing network on Twitch, where everybody could go, everyone was recognized, everybody could kind of have their chance at doing whatever they want to do with the community. And there's no pressure. Like I said, leave the competition on the track. And since then we have brought in really, really good streamers and really, really good iRacers onto the team page. And it's been a blast ever since. None of this is really like any of our full-time job. This is just the hobby that we love to do. And the streamers love to stream. And so, yeah, that's just how it came about. It was just a way of bringing the community together, because it's such a small community.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, because I since we spoke the other day, I've had a bit more of a poke around with in Twitch and on the Grip TV Discord. I had a bit of a look around and all the rest of it, and some of your other streamers. I mean, I've followed Tyson Meyer, and now how do you pronounce him? Jasperoni, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jasperoni. Yeah, he's crazy.
He's a funny dude, man.
Yeah.
But I looked a bit more around, as I said, on the Grip TV side of things. It seems, with the Discord server and some of the other streamers, and the community element strikes me as a real positive. I mean, I felt it was like the communities that I know I've been a part of in different games over the years. I mean, I've made some really great friends and taken a lot from what I call, I guess, the connections with other people that I've made through it. It's very much for me like-minded people coming together to enjoy the things that they enjoy doing. And over time, I found, I could really build some solid friendship through those common experiences, I guess. Is that the sort of thing you feel you've got going with Grip TV?
Oh, definitely. you tend to meet people either on the stream or in a race. And the more you race, the more you see them on the stream. And then before you know it, like last year, we went to the iRaceforlife.org seminar down in Texas. And now all of a sudden you're meeting them in real life and you're hanging out and you're racing. So yeah, definitely some of the people that I've met and become friends with through the stream and iRacing now I've met in real life. And I consider them like real friends, because it is kind of weird. Like you have your internet friends and then you're like your real life friends, but now they're like merging. And I just feel really comfortable with most of the people in the community. And it's a blast. You are able to make real connections and, form real relationships with people. It's a blast.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I remember I used to play another game, Day of Defeat. It's on the Half-Life engine, like Counter-Strike was. And I used to travel, great distances. So I live in Australia, obviously in the ACT, and I used to drive, the 800 Ks or whatever it is down to Melbourne, down the south of the country to go to a LAN. Can you imagine LAN? Where people to get together, bring their PCs. I mean, do those things even happen anymore? Anyway,
well, the iRace for Life seminar, people physically brought their huge rigs and their computers and monitors and everything and set them up. I couldn't believe it.
What they bought? What, the triple screens and the wheels and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Jeepers.
Oh yeah. It was like one full day. It was like a 3-day event or whatever it was. And the first full day was pretty much you go and you set all your stuff up, because you can imagine how long it takes to set everything up after you broke it all down just to bring it there. But that was something. I've never seen anything like it.
That's crazy. I mean, I remember in the days when I used to do a couple of LANs, and there was a whole like industry around making PCs smaller so that you could take them to a LAN, let alone bring in a whole driving rig.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy. So I wanted to talk a bit about driving on the iRacing service. So I've had a couple of cracks at streaming. When I say a couple of cracks, I mean a couple of periods. I did it for a little while, then I retired, and then I went back in, and now I'm kind of semi-retired from it again. I moved on to sort of recording my races live and uploading them. And then finally ended up just recently, I'd find a race that I really enjoyed, save the replay, and then do some commentary over it, talking about what I was thinking during the race and what have you. And that was kind of twofold with that one, because I've been doing a bit of commentary with live broadcasts with Double RTV, which is one of our streamers down here doing, we do a weekly strength of field race commentary thing. But I guess I found that it was a bit too distracting for me, which is why I sort of stopped. I found that, I wasn't, reckless or dangerous on the track, but I just wasn't really getting the results I wanted to get. It just added a bit of pressure that I wasn't completely comfortable with, and it was affecting, my performance. It sounds all too serious, but I was keen to know how you do it. I mean, how do you find managing the balance between all those things you're doing for the stream while you're driving and being, competitive on the track?
It's major sensory overload, that's for sure. And I would tell you, don't give up, because it is, at first it is, there's a lot coming at you and it is kind of distracting, but just like anything in life, the more you practice and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I think my mindset has always been the race is the most important thing, and the stream is kind of like secondary. So when I'm in certain races and I'm concentrating, I almost just put out of mind like the stream part of it. But there's always the straightaway, so I can glance up at chat, and I do have a bad habit of always glancing up at chat. But a lot of it's just a bad habit. I'm not necessarily like reading anything. I'm just like looking at it, see what's up. But it's not easy, and I mean, I can't really tell you how much better of an iRacer I would be if I didn't stream. But to me, it's just so much more fun being with everybody and interacting with everybody while you're racing and watching replays of wrecks and this, that, and the other thing. But no, it's not easy, and it is a sensory overload kind of thing. But I try my best to focus on the turn, the corners, and the race, and when I do have a little bit of downtime, maybe I can look up a chat and maybe respond to a couple things. But I mean, I've raced a lot of Mazda MX-5, so I do have a lot of time during those races. But yeah, it all depends on the type of race. Like today, I did a Lotus 49 race at Sebring, and I don't think I read much of any chat because even on the straightaway, you're trying not to die. So and I want to put on a good race for the stream. I don't. There's a really small percentage of the people that are chatting compared to the people that are watching, and to take away from the people that want to see a good race just so I can say hello or respond to some questions. So you got to kind of balance it out correctly. But I think number one is good racing. So that's what I concentrate on the most.
Yeah, Matt, can I tell you, I caught the end of your stream today with the Lotus race, and that was awesome. At one point, I think you said, "Sorry, I'm not talking too much," but it was written all over your face.
Yeah, just focus face 100%.
That's right. And then at the end there, you put up a screenshot of the guy driving the car, like the actual guy in the game, and he said, it was so right. That was your face. Like it was really cool. This is, I guess, I mean, I've looked at your profile and everything, and you're holding, without wanting to blow smoke up your butt, you're holding like a 4K iRating, which is something that I aspire to and I've never quite got. I'm going through a bit of a downturn at the moment. I'll duck under 3,000 anytime soon, but it boggles my mind to think that you can still do that with everything that's going on. But it's as a result of that, it's normally the point where I'd ask where you've had any real racing or track experience. But can you tell us a bit about your day at the Skip Barber School at Road Atlanta?
Yeah, so a couple summers ago, iRacing did a referral contest, and I was able to get enough referrals to place second in the contest, and they had a list of prizes available. And I think the first place guy just chose like a wheel and pedal set. But on the list of prizes available was the Skip Barber Racing School. And they're like, yeah, just go ahead and pick a day and pick a time. And, you can choose whether or not you want to race the MX-5 or the Skip Barber car. And I'm like, well, if I got a chance to race an MX-5, I kind of have to do it because of my love of Mazda.
Yeah.
So it was Road Atlanta at the end of last year in September of 2016. Down in Georgia at Road Atlanta, and flew down there, and it was a full day of running laps. Oh gosh, I don't know how many laps we did, but after lunch, they give you lunch and everything. It was a great experience. Yeah. And after lunch, they set you up kind of like a hot lapping session where they have a stop box at the beginning of the backstretch at Road Atlanta, and you stop there. And then they let everyone go at certain intervals, so you could just have the track to yourself, really. And they encourage you to drive really fast. And I thought I was pushing it pretty good, but the fear factor and the G-forces come into play. And because I tell you what, is it turn 12 or the final turn at Road Atlanta? It's downhill, right-hander. You're going towards the start-finish line, and that wall that comes up on your left is it makes you pucker a little bit because even in a little Mazda, I mean, you got the pedal to the metal and you're just flying, and you're like, oh, and you end up lifting just a little bit, just to make sure you get through it. But I tell you what, it was one of the best experiences of my life, and I'll never forget it. And I did get a bunch of video of it, which is great. And so yeah, I'll never forget it. And I would definitely do that stuff in the future too. It's the problem is that stuff is expensive.
Oh, okay.
Like, I was so lucky to get it for free, but you're looking at a couple $2,000-3,000 just for like a 1 day deal, So
ouch. Yeah, I remember talking to Philippe Lebert in my last episode, and he was saying that the cost was really what kept him out of it. But in terms of the real racing, I mean, but you've got a video up of your sessions there, some of the racing on there, and I went and checked it out the other day after we spoke. And the way you were describing, I mean, you did a voiceover description of it afterwards. Sounds like you were a kid who'd just been letting it loose in the toy store, mate. Was it like that?
Yeah, it was great. And then I also did a split screen of the old Mazda, not the new 2016 Mazda, but at Road Atlanta on iRacing with the old Mazda, and then the lap that I did in real life, and did a split screen of it. And I tell you what, iRacing did a really good job with Road Atlanta. It's very similar.
Yeah, it looked awesome. I was going to say
Mhm.
though, with all I guess the fear factor playing in your mind, doing the split screen there, did you have to hold back in the sim at all to match the speeds? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I was like, it took me a while to get it to. Yeah, I'd like play the video alongside while I'm racing and like try to. Yeah, I'd be letting up a lot, but maybe. I mean, you should have seen some of these cars that they had in the cars that they had, the old Mazdas, and man, they looked completely beat up. It was ridiculous. Like it looked like they'd been through the ringer. That's for sure.
Yeah, it makes me wonder why, if that's why they put the stop zone for your hot laps in the middle of the longest straight, maybe to reduce some of the risk at the end,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, that could very well be. Yeah, because going into 10A, 10B at full speed, that'd be a little crazy.
Yeah,
But
and then perhaps maybe they learned from experiences and how the cars ended up.
yeah,
Perhaps I don't know.
yeah, that could be. And also, like, because I've done, I think it's called like Exotic Experience or something, where you can go to a track and they have all like the brand new cars there, like the Corvette, Stingray, and the Porsche and everything, and you just pay like $200-300 and you take like 3 laps around, and there's an instructor sitting shotgun, and they don't really like push you or anything. They just want
Yeah,
to give you the experience of driving a fast car. Skip Barber Racing School is completely different. They set people up on different parts of the track with radios,
yep,
and then if they think you can go a little bit faster through a corner, they're going to call it in on the radio, and then the guy at the stop box will stop you and say, "Hey, you can go push it a little bit faster," because it is a school. When they say it's a school, it really is. Like they want you to progress in being a racer. So that was really cool. It was great to see, and they really let you go all out.
that's awesome. I mean, you probably haven't had time to check it out after we chatted the other day, but there's a video of Gregor Hutu who had a similar experience that iRacing put on. It's called The World's Fastest Alien, and we all know what aliens are in iRacing. And it's true, he is the world's fastest alien. But it was great. I mean, they took it under the concept of, could you take a guy from the sim, put him on the track, and see how he went. Bit of iRacing, advertising at the start and all the rest of it. How good are we and all that? But it's really quite interesting to see. It's a few years old now. I think it's about 5 years old or something like that. But quite an interesting little insight. So I'll put a link up into the description of the podcast when we put it up. But well worth your time to have a look at. Quite interesting. And I'm sure you could relate after your experiences.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why the transition may not be as severe as some people would think is because of the laser scan tracks.
Yeah.
I think the details on the track and how close they are to real life, I think that's really key. And I've been following Glenn McGee and his transition into real life racing.
Yeah.
And that's been a blast to watch him running around with those Mazdas in real life with the huge grids too. They got some really big grids, and you figure how many hours you put into the simulator. The tracks, your visual cues, your breaking points. So then when you're there in real life, it all kind of just comes to you. And then you just got to get over the fear factor and the G-forces. I mean, you can't. I mean, like when I got back from Road Atlanta, people were always like, "So it's just like sim racing, isn't it?" I'm like, "Well, it's nothing like sim racing, but there's a lot about sim racing that is going to help you with that transition." And I think we've seen that in Glenn McGee and other people. But yeah, I mean, I can't sit here as a video gamer and say like, "Oh yeah, real racing is so easy because I've done it in the sim." I can't say that because it is completely different. But it's only going to help.
No, that's right. I think you're right. And for me, the best indication would be the number of, real life pro drivers that you see using iRacing, I assume, in their spare time. I mean, you've had the likes, even Rubens Barrichello in his retirement's come out and done a few races on iRacing. I think he was hosting an event as well. Plus, I know some of our local Australia, New Zealand drivers, we see them all the time on the service, and it's fantastic to rub shoulders with some of the pros. And it says to me that, like you said, and certainly was evident in your split screen video, they've done a fantastic job with the tracks.
Mhm.
And so, that's just a great element that they bring to it. So no other track experiences?
Just a couple of times when I did the exotic racing thing. I drove a Corvette Stingray, a Porsche, the Camaro, and just kind of not even hot lapping, just kind of, they would always have an instructor car like right in front of you.
Yeah.
And you could never really let it go. But it was a blast, don't get me wrong, but
no, that's awesome.
No like real racing.
No. Well, see, the reason I ask is that, I'm really impressed with how you drive under all the distractions, as I said, with the streaming. But also, I mean, the guys that I've seen that are really, really good at this generally tend to have a lot of track experience. I know Philippe, who I've spoken to, and some of the other guys around have had that real track experience. So to do what you do is awesome. And it made me think, if you ever took away the distractions of the streaming element, have you ever had a thought of having a tilt at the pro license?
It's not really my thing. I just think it'd be too much like dedication towards like one car, and it's not something I want to do, and I don't think it's something the viewers would want, because I do. The stream is really important to me, and
yeah,
I just think that to dive into like trying to go pro would really be. I think it would hinder most things. Like I wouldn't be having as much fun, So no, I don't really have any plans on like specifically going pro or anything. And to tell you the truth, I don't think I have the skill sets there. But I don't know. I've never practiced like one car like over and over and over. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're probably selling yourself a bit short. But I think you're right. That was one of my questions about what to take away from the fun of it, and I think you've answered that. I mean, the streaming seems to bring so much to your enjoyment. So yeah, no, that's cool. But coming back to the streaming more directly, I wanted to go through some of your thoughts on the concepts around streaming more broadly. First off, I was thinking about the appeal of it, and so up until pretty recently, actually, I couldn't see the appeal in watching other people game rather than doing it or gaming myself. Sort of watching it on the telly rather than being on the field, so to speak. But I've taken to having Twitch up on a second monitor now and then more recently, and I've found it more compelling than I was expecting. I have to say that yours is one of the better streams going around. Certainly on iRacing, I reckon it's probably the best one going around. There's certainly an entertainment value in addition to the racing itself in what you bring. But what do you think is the appeal for viewers? I mean, what is it you think draws people in to watch other people game?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think a lot of it's a sense of community. I think it's a lot of that you enjoy the game. So when you're not playing it, that you can watch someone else play it and maybe pick up some tips. Thinking more like generally, like on Twitch, iRacing is really small down the list. There's not a whole lot of people watching iRacing on Twitch. You're looking at more like Counter-Strike and League of Legends and the big games. But why does it draw so many people in? I'm not sure. I mean, you got the whole phenomenon of the Let's Plays on YouTube, where it's literally just a guy playing a video game and he puts up, 20 episodes, and they get millions of views.
Really? I hadn't seen those. So they just one guy playing a game and that's it.
Yeah, like a new game comes out and they'll do they call it like a Let's Play, and he'll just go through beat the entire game, but he'll put it out in so many episodes.
Okay.
But really though, I don't know. I guess like when I was a kid, me and my brother, I have an older brother, and we would play video games all the time. And I would enjoy watching him play if he was good or if he's trying to beat a level or something. I'd sit and watch and cheer him on. So maybe it's kind of like that. Maybe it's a lot like, watching football. You're watching people play a game. You're cheering them on. Yeah, I don't. I think it's sense of community. You take interest in the same game, and the interactivity on Twitch is so great that you can chat with the streamer, which is cool. You can interact with the other people watching, so that's really neat.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. It reminds me actually in the time in between when we spoke and today, of course, I watched a bit more Twitch, and I was doing some racing yesterday actually, and yeah, just before I started, I hopped onto Twitch to have a look, and I saw Dennis Johansson. Do you know Dennis Johansson? He's a top driver. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but you know what got to me more than so I watched one of his races, and then I was signing up to the next one. He was going to go in there, but in between the race, it was pure gold. Um, he he put on a video of one of his old races when he did a real track race, and he had this. He's Scandinavian, I think he's Danish, and he had this, like the Kimi Räikkönen deadpan straight voice going, and but the stories that he was telling and the insights that he was giving about this race was just awesome. I mean, it started out, he was saying it just started raining, but they were in Parc Ferme, so they couldn't change anything. So he's around on slicks, right? He's driving this $4,000 Peugeot 206 that he found in a barn somewhere, and fixed it all up. And he said, yeah, that guy in front of me, he's driving an $80,000 factory built car. But here's this guy Dennis. He's talking you through this. Oh, this guy came up the inside and he gave me a tap, so I made sure the next corner I set him up and put him into the wall, and stuff like this. It was just it was fantastic. It was pure gold, And then to have the opportunity, as you say, to jump in and do a few races with him, and then in between go back and chat and all the rest of it. I think for me, the entertainment value is probably because of the direct interaction that was really personal and intimate and really priceless. I had a great time. It really added to what I was doing in the racing, jumping into his channel and doing that sort of thing, and watching his old races and what have you in between the races that we were doing together. So, for me, I feel like I'm now starting to get more of an insight into the appeal that I couldn't quite see before. Have you had those sort of experiences yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you really get to know people on a personal level, and when I started streaming, it took me a little while to kind of come out of my shell and just kind of be myself. And, I'm a completely open book, so like people know about my life. I tell stories, things that happen, I got my dog in the background. Samantha comes in,
Yep.
so that, they know what I'm doing on the weekends, and I'm just myself, and I'm talking with my friends. And so, no, you just kind of get to know someone. It's kind of like getting to know somebody on, a TV show or your favorite broadcaster or something on the TV. But yeah, no, it's that personal relatability that I think people come back to as well. They want to see what's happening, what's up, what's new, what's the new story, and all that stuff, and just kind of hang out.
Yeah, and they're making that connection again. That we otherwise, without this wonderful thing called the internet, we couldn't do. Yeah, I agree with you, and I think now I'm sort of learning that there is a lot more appeal in doing that. But thinking about streaming as a medium, or I don't know what you call it now. Do you call it an entertainment genre or something? I'm interested, but I'm interested to know your thoughts more broadly. So you play and stream other games, yeah?
Not really. I try to stick with just iRacing. I have streamed other games just for fun every once in a while. But I usually like to stick to just iRacing, because if if I stream any other game, then people come in and they're like, "Oh, when's the next race?" It's like, well, it's like we're doing a little something different today. But I really don't. I used to like video games more back in the day, but I might be kind of growing out of it. I don't know. Most of the games now don't really interest me, but there are some that I play, and if I do play games, I usually don't stream them, but every once in a while we'll stream a couple of different games.
Yeah, so I'm the same, mate. I don't play a lot of different games now. I've got one or two that I play. But I was pleased to see this morning you had, over 500 viewers. Do you know the highest number of viewers you've had on one of your streams?
Oh, it was probably just this last weekend for the Daytona 24-hour race. At the end of the race, I ran the last couple stints, and we had over 700 viewers just on my channel. And what was even more impressive is that we had the highest that I saw it was over 2,000 for the game iRacing on Twitch, which is awesome because
Yeah.
there were so many Twitch streams going on for that Daytona 24-hour race.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to see, to try to bring iRacing to the forefront on Twitch, just to get more eyeballs on it. Because I can't tell you how many times somebody new will come into the stream and they'll be like, "Oh, what's this game? I've never heard of it. Some racing game. Where can I get this? Because to tell you the truth, iRacing isn't advertised in like broadly in the video game world. They're more advertising like in the racing world.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get eyeballs on it sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the reason I asked it in the context of streaming more generally, I mean, so the other game that I play is League of Legends. And comparing iRacing to League of Legends or the other, top few games that get streamed on Twitch, there's just no comparison. I mean, I've been looking at it a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and we really sort of pale into the shadows by comparison. I mean, we might see a dozen streamers on Twitch for iRacing, but then there'll be dozens and dozens on, say, for example, League of Legends or what have you. I looked the other day and sort of in reverse order, the top 3 individual streamers on Twitch for League of Legends, there were 10,000 viewers on one, 15,000, and then the one that I ended up hopping into, I just out of pure curiosity, I couldn't believe it. There were 40,000 viewers, 40,000, and I just had to jump in and look. I found myself caught till 1 a.m, if you can believe it, watching some guy on the other side of the world just playing a game I could have been playing myself. It was, it was somewhat surreal. And I spoke to my father-in-law about it the next day. He's just turned 80. And the best way I could sort of help him get his head around the concept involved was in terms of a football match. I said to him, it'd be like going to one of the really popular teams down here and going seeing 40,000 people in the stands, whereas most of the games, the footy games here, you might get 10 to 15,000 if you're lucky. I mean, he just politely shook his head. And if you listen to this, John, I do appreciate the way you humour me when we speak about these things. But then I think of the League of Legends, the LoL or the League World Championships. They fill those stadiums. They fill 30 to 40,000 seat stadiums to watch guys click away on their keyboards on center stage. I mean, that's crazy to think about it. I mean, having said that, I mean, I sat on the couch for something like 5 hours to watch the last one on my TV, the last World Championships, I should say. So, I'm finding it quite compelling viewing, more so than I ever expected, like I was saying. But, I could go on and on about the numbers. I mean, Counter-Strike the other day, they were the top game that was being streamed, they had 500,000 viewers. I don't know if they had a special event on or something.
It was a tournament. Yeah, the big tournaments that Counter-Strike has. They bring in the masses for sure.
That's outstanding. It just boggles my mind to think of where it is now, let alone where it could be. I mean, where do you think it could go?
Oh, boy. Well, you hear a lot of people that cancel their TV subscription because all they do is watch Twitch. So you just get a whole generation of people not relying on the boob tube, as they call it. The old people call it the boob tube.
Yeah. And,
they'd rather watch something on Twitch or on YouTube, something that they can interact with. It's live, and it's more of like an unfiltered way of viewing stuff, because the TV is so canned. There's so many advertisements. People don't want to sit around and watch TV anymore. So I think you get a lot of people switching over to more Twitch stuff. And when you got high competition, big tournaments going on, like Counter-Strike and stuff, you're going to get a lot of people watching. They're invested. They're emotionally invested in the teams that are going. And, to contrast that with iRacing, iRacing does have big events like endurance races, but I think they could do more when it comes to big tournament style races, and maybe even have like a location where you get everyone there in the same building, and you can have races going on like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff they could try to do, but Alex, I'm trying over here. Trying to get to 40,000 viewers. Maybe one of these Mazda races, I'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you're right. Sort of tuning out from traditional media. I mean, the other big thing that comes to my mind is Netflix. The way I view Netflix at the moment is, and the key thing you introduced there is the advertising. I mean, they don't do ads, so to speak, other than promoting their own content when you log in, sort of thing. It's uninterrupted viewing. You can watch what you want when you want. And the other key point to me, and it's the same with Twitch, and you use that word unfiltered. There's no pressures that comes with advertising. You're not trying to appease, or can I do this? Can I do that? You just, the content creator, the person can just be completely true to what they want to do. They can create what they want, when they want, how they want to do it. And, from what I understand, the limited knowledge that I have just from reading stuff around the place, the Netflix guys, when they go to these people to create content for them, they just say, you know what, knock yourself out, go crazy with whatever you want. And I've seen some pretty amazing stuff come out of it, and I think Twitch is a similar thing to that. Is that sort of how you see it?
Yeah, definitely. I think places like Twitch and Netflix, they understand what people want, and they're just given the green light for it. And I think the revenue generation for a place like Twitch is very interesting because, yes, a lot of the content, most of the content, all is free.
Yeah.
But it gives the option to the viewer to generate revenue for the streamer to keep the content going, and to show that the content that they're getting, they're really enjoying it. So it gives them avenues to kind of fund the streams that they're watching. But otherwise, if you're just a casual viewer, everything is free.
Yeah, I love that about Twitch. I mean, you're right, 100% from what I've seen. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but free to watch. I really like the approach where if people want to contribute and donate or subscribe or whatever the mechanism is, they can contribute a bit to the streamer, and it's a token amount. It's like a cup of coffee or something, and that's really awesome. I mean, obviously, you've still got a day job, yeah?
Yeah, so in the summer, I work in the construction business, so I'm doing that. I'm streaming and I work during the summer, and then during the winter, I get like 3 or 4 months off in the winter, which is great because then I can do full-time streaming.
Yeah,
and that's my schedule right now. So yeah, I love it. But no, it's great. I mean, to have a hobby where people enjoy it, what you're doing, and the hobby kind of pays for itself, if not more. And it's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, but I think about where these sort of things can go. Can you imagine, what you could do with 40,000 viewers? Do you think there really is? Do you think there really is the potential? And I think there's probably people doing it already. Do you think there is the potential for people to have this as a viable full-time gig?
Yeah, there's quite a few streamers that definitely that's their full-time job, is to play video games 8 hours a day.
Every kid's dream, right?
Yeah, really. Imagine growing up playing Nintendo Entertainment System and thinking in the future, I can play video games for a living. Your parents would laugh at you, but like Summit that plays Counter-Strike, he's got like 16,000 subscribers, so yeah, he's making like $40K a month.
Wow, that's insane.
Before taxes.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to get you on taxes. But yeah, no, totally viable full-time job. That's for sure. But you got to put in the hours, just like any other job. So
nothing's for free, right?
But at least it's something you love to do. So that's what's great about it.
Yeah, no, that's right. So, and that leads me, I guess, into my last serious topic for our conversation today, and it is about that thing that you're enjoying. So the analogy that I use when I think about the topic of money and the thing of a hobby versus a job, So I used to play rugby union, which is a big football code down here. As you know, we don't wear pads and helmets and stuff, and concussion is, well, I don't know. Actually, before I go on to that, I saw a big thing on concussion in NFL, and that surprised me given the helmets. I don't know. Maybe they think they can hit their heads harder or something. What do you reckon?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're like, oh, we got this helmet on, so I might as well use it. And then, yeah, they actually say the offensive linemen, the small contacts over and over and over and over is what's causing some bad stuff, not just like the highlight hits, you know.
Yeah, well, I
But
mean, I do a bit of martial arts. If you do that competitively, they rule you out for X number of weeks or months or whatever because
mhm.
concussions are cumulative, you know. And I remember
Right. Yep.
training with one of my mates for one of his fights, and you know, he had to rule himself out, or he got ruled out in the end because by the end, we were just sparring, and I could just touch him on the chin and he'd fall over, sort of thing. The cumulative effect.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, side topic. Coming back to what I was trying to talk about. You know, we do these things for fun, but I know when I was playing rugby, I grew up in the amateur era playing rugby, but and always played it for fun as a hobby. But by the time I was a young adult and sort of, I guess you'd say in your prime, professionalism, that is being paid to play at the higher levels, was coming in. I was decent player to the point where it was definitely a serious option for me to consider making it a career, if assuming, of course, I could live up to my potential. Um, I mean, having said that, though, I sort of ended up opting out and sort of falling away. I played a few games where money was involved, and they used to pay us by check, but I never cashed one. I found that it really changed things for me. I'd always played it, as I said, as a hobby and for fun. And for some reason, when the money came into it, it really took away from
Mm.
that enjoyment I got out of it. I mean, there are plenty of professional sports, and they've always been professional. And I'm sure that those sort of concepts just never occurs. It's always, you know, it's always been that way. It's part of the culture, I guess. And I'm sure now that rugby's been professional for so long, it's been, I guess, I've been nearly 20 years now. I'm sure it's the same way now. They don't sort of think about it in the same way as I did. But my question for you is, uh, with all the other things going on, with all the pressures of the streaming while racing and all the rest of it, and the money with the subscriptions and the donations, all that stuff going on, do you think that's taken away, or has it changed your enjoyment of the game over time?
Um, it's different because I don't get paid to race.
Yep,
I'm getting money in from people that enjoy the stream. So I think that is a pretty big difference. So
absolutely.
like we said before, like everything is free. So you can go watch all the video on demand of all my streams.
Yeah.
Those are all free. The YouTube videos are free, obviously. It's free to watch at any quality. And then if you choose to subscribe, then you know you can get some cool emotes and stuff. I guess that's what comes along with subscribing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it's the generosity of the community, and that's what actually keeps me going. That's a sign to me that I'm doing the right thing. They're enjoying themselves. I'm enjoying myself. It'd be completely different. Let's say if like I was paid to run like the Skip Barber series for an entire season, like I would feel a little weird about that. I don't think I would want to do that because then you feel like you have to perform. You know, you're obligated. But no, what's great about Twitch is that you just get on and people throw money at you sometimes, and it's like, well, okay, I'm having fun here. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because obviously it's working. But yeah, that's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, I think that's the important distinction that you draw there. You're not being paid to do the racing so much, and you know, like you said, and we as another important distinction is that you're not forcing people to pay to watch what you're doing. It's all free. So yeah, I think you're right. That's probably something that was very different for me anyway. I was being paid to play and put that different kind of pressure on where you felt like you had to perform because of that rather than just perform because you enjoyed it. So, you know, that's
because look, I could jump in a Mazda and crash first lap, turn one, and somebody will find that hilarious and they'll subscribe. It's like, well, like, wait a minute, no, so yeah, it's a big difference.
I guess when you think about it, that's some of the pressure that the guys on the real track racing side of things would feel. I mean, they're being paid to do that, so their performance is key.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, probably what changed it for me on hindsight. I hadn't thought about it. That. Thank you. I feel like cleansed. Anyway, so moving on to less heavy and deep topics. I'm going to blatantly poach an idea from Top Gear. Ever watch much Top Gear?
No, but I've heard about it.
Bit of fun. So I'm going to ask you to run a couple of laps to set the first time on the top split leaderboard. I'm not sure I'm happy with that, but I couldn't go completely stealing Top Gear's idea and call it star in a reasonably priced car. But in the spirit of star in a reasonably priced car, I've got a hosted session run up that I think you're already in that I'm about to join.
Oh, I'm in here. I've been burning fuel for the last 20 minutes.
No.
No.
It's not my favorite track by any means, but I thought it'd be one that would be familiar with everyone that comes on the show at least. And even if, unlike yourself, of course, they may not be overly familiar with the Skip Barber car, which is my weapon of choice here. So let's hop in, and I'll just join the session now, and we'll give it a crack. Hey, so the deal is your out lap plus 2 hot laps. Best time goes up on the board, and you'll be the first one up there.
Oh boy, I'll be first place.
Always.
Okayama is a great track. We actually did a Mustang race around Okayama today, and that was challenging. This track is not easy, and it is default content. I think it's a great track for people to run it with a bunch of different cars, because you'll learn a lot from this track.
I agree. I think there's a nice balance in it. The back section after the hairpin at turn 5, through 6, all the way through turn 9, that series of 90-degree plus corners is really challenging. I don't know if you know, they did build this track with a view to having Formula One here, and they did run some F1 here, but the track didn't have the ability to really stretch the legs of the F1s, and so they didn't end up racing too much here.
Oh, yeah. Was it just a bunch of rich people that built this track, and they were thinking in their mind, like, oh, we can get F1 to race here along with our cool exotic cars? I don't know. I thought I heard something about that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I don't know, but I remember reading about it at the time and thought that was pretty fascinating. All right, mate. I can see you there.
Oh, you got me? Okay.
Yeah, I got you in the lovely Grip TV livery there, the red and black.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm going to do a shout out to Ben Horton, who actually makes all the paints for Grip TV. If you go to Trading Paints, you just type in his name, Ben Horton. He's got every single car with a Grip TV logo on it. It's amazing. He's done a great job.
Oh, that's awesome. So I've had a crack at doing a top split livery recently for the Skip Barber. Very plain and boring, and I think I've even got the website on there upside down, but it's there, right?
It's not easy when you're looking at those templates, is it? You don't know where to put stuff.
No, I had 2 cracks at it. I put it on there, and then I went on the track and I went, oh, that's upside down. So I thought I flipped it around, and then I went back on track and I went, no, it's still upside down and it's staying there.
Oh no.
So I think potentially you're going to have what's this weaving on the straight, mate? You're trying to warm up the tires.
I got to warm up the tires a little bit.
I think you're going to have an inherent advantage here, because I don't think many people that are going to come on the show are going to have the experience of talking while driving.
Well, you got to make sure you talk to everybody that does. That's my advantage.
That's my plan. I think you'll do okay anyway. I mean, as I said, I had Philippe Labert, Mr. 2K Cup, on the show last time, and I think he might have a shot at beating your time, but we'll have to see how everyone else goes. And I imagine I might even have to have a crack at some stage, but I might save that till a bit later, yeah?
Well, this is a pretty good combo, so it's a good choice.
Yeah, very good. All right, coming round through the last corner, as it's called, turn number 11 now for the first flying lap.
Oh, I'm nervous.
What are you talking about? You do this all the time. All right, coming into, you're going to take this one in third?
Second gear, I guess.
Second gear.
That was a mistake.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a couple of weeks since we drove here. You in third by now or still in second?
Oh, yeah. Third, now in fourth.
Beautiful. There we go. Fourth gear, down taking the run now down into turn 4, known as Atwood's Curve or Atwood Curve. Got to get a good run in here. Nice turn in. Second or third through there?
Second up the hill.
I can't remember. I think that's third gear for me.
It probably is. I don't know if this thing likes high RPMs or what.
Yeah, it's got a pretty broad range, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're coming down now, hitting the 200 marker, coming into the hairpin for the first time. Nice angle on the entry there. Nice and wide turn in. Second gear for that one. No.
I was in first through the hairpin.
Actually, you're probably right. I should have done a practice lap, so I know. Oh, nice turn in there. I'll stick this up as a replay on YouTube and probably try and get our comments over the top at the same time. Through turn 8 now, Redmond, up to turn 9, which is Hobber, I think, from memory. This is a tough section to get right. Oh, a bit of wheel spin on exit. Tell you what, it's hard to light up the car, the tyres in this car. You're doing well. There we go.
Whoa, all the track right there.
A bit of dust. Very good.
That was pretty good. Let's see if I can tap it.
What's that? A 154. Nice. 155.4 for that one. That's all right. What does the cockpit look like now? I'm going to jump in with you here. Oh, that's actually. Hop on gyro. That'll be better.
Funny thing about this car is the big cotter pin on the steering wheel holding it on.
And you chose the Mazda, so you can't even tell whether that was the case or not in the real ones.
Yeah, and the real Mazda Road Atlanta, that you just kind of shove it on there. It's kind of like the wheels, your sim racing wheel, where you kind of hold it back and then shove it on there, and away you go.
I know what you mean. All right, coming into the hairpin again. Yeah, I think first's right. I think you're right. Nice angle on entry. Good. Compromise that one a little bit. Nice through turn 6. Into 7 now. Piper corner. Oh, a bit of grass on the inside. Unsettled him a bit. Coming up to Redmond now into turn 8. Braking about the 50. Early turn in there. Nice. Oh, again, lighting up the rears a little bit. Patient.
Oh, an off track.
He's got the off track.
I was up like 0.8 too.
Oh, shadow.
I'll finish it out, see what it is.
Yeah, we'll see what it looks like. Finish it off.
I did qualifying at Bathurst with the GT3 cars and got a 0x contact, and that invalidates your lap.
Oh, no. That's shattering. That was a 44.7 too.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I left it so that other people at least have a chance at beating me. That was a lot of fun.
No, that was good, man. Thank you for that. So I will post a video up, and I'll put the leaderboard, which you'll be the lone soldier on the Top Split website, in and around when I put up the episode. But before I let you go this morning, although it's this evening your time, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, maybe that significant other who I saw riding shotgun on the stream over the holidays.
Oh yeah, Samantha. Well, I can wish Samantha a happy birthday because it's her birthday tomorrow on Friday, and she's been great. Just a shout out to all the iRacers out there and all the iRacing streamers out there. Especially for the Grip TV team page, all of our streamers, really good guys. I would suggest give them all a follow and check out what they're all about. But just thanks to you, Alex. This has been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on. It has been a lot of fun. And I can certainly vouch for the quality of the streamers you got going on there at Twitch, Grip TV. I've checked out a few of them, Tyson and Jasperoni, and it's been a lot of fun. And adding that element of knowing the guy beside you on track has been really adding to the racing for me lately. So, but how can people engage with you? I mean, the Twitch, is it just Twitch, Grip TV at Twitch, or how does that work?
So to get to my channel, you can go to twitch.tv/showdown1983. Otherwise, I would just go to griptvteam.com, and that takes you to our team page, and it has a full list of all of our members on there. But just what I suggest people that love iRacing and that love Twitch is that just go onto your Twitch, make sure you're logged in, and then just follow the game iRacing. That way you can just click on iRacing at any time, and you can see who's streaming that iRacing, so you can start interacting right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done that myself. And can I tell you, you get a glimpse. One of the fascinating things I've seen on there is people doing virtual reality with the Oculus Rift or whatever. How cool does that look? Seriously.
That is so cool that they've been actually able to stream it, and it's actually watchable,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Anyway, that's enough. I've taken up too much of your time, mate. Thank you again for joining me here at the Top Split. I really do appreciate you taking the time twice now. So hopefully this
No
one will
worries.
work out. And yeah, mate, thanks, mate. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. It was a blast, and I can come back anytime you want me to.
Yeah. Also, mate, maybe I'll take you up on that, and we can redo that hot lap.
Definitely.
Thanks, mate. Well, what about that? What did you think of Showdown Malone? It's a bit of fun, wasn't it? You may have picked up while listening to us that it wasn't the first time we'd spoken. I did, in fact, have some, let's call them technical difficulties that made our first attempt unusable, which was really disappointing, not only because it was somewhat frustrating, but also because I had to impose on Matt's time more than once. He was a great sport about it and offered to come back straight away as soon as I told him a couple of days later. So thank you to Matt. It was not only a pleasure to have you on, mate, but I really do appreciate how generous you were with your time, along with how open you were when we were talking, and all of that, and it was fun too. So I also have to apologise for another bit of a rookie mistake. I had every intention of posting a video of Matt's hot lap, but not only did I forget to load up the recording software, but then I exited the game without saving the replay. So not one but two rookie mistakes. If nothing else, though, it's a good excuse to have Matt back on the show down the track when I have my act more together. I was a bit less prepared for this episode than I would have liked because of the holiday that we've just been on that I mentioned at the start of the show. But no excuses. I should have been more on top of my game. Next time, however, I'll ensure that there's footage to go along with the audio. Mind you, though, I thought the audio came across pretty well, and all things considered, Matt was a great sport about it. So make sure you check out the Top Split leaderboard when I put it up on the site, and I'll make sure to have it up there soon. Quickly turning to the iRacing scene, or at least what's happening in the world of the skippies. We're into the second half of the Season 1, 2017, if you can believe it. It's time's really just kind of rushing by, and we're only coming up on the end of January. Looking at the official Skip Barber series on the iRacing side, we see a couple of less familiar names at the top of the table as it stands at the moment. Alvaro P. Sanchez is currently leading as we close in on the end of Week 7. I do expect that potentially to change, as some of the big guns no doubt haven't posted their best points for the week, with the respective strength of field races in the different hemispheres still yet to be run and won. Who have we got in second place? Gianmarco Cordoba. He sits in second there with Greg Seitz in third. Leading the Australian tilt once again is Luke Witten, who, like nearly everyone else in the top 10, has already cracked the 1,000 championship point mark without even having run 8 rounds, let alone taking into account any drop rounds. I find that somewhat depressing, if I'm honest. What with some time off this season and some subpar performances on track, I think that the 1,000 point mark may well elude me again this season. Well, there's always next season, right? Interestingly, returning champion Enzo Cantor has only run 5 rounds to this point and is sitting down in 10th place. Perhaps with this weekend's big races in mind, he'll be looking to move up the order a bit. On the local ANZ scene, Luke Whitten, of course, is leading the way as per the overall official standings, with David Buddha relinquishing his early season lead, and he's now in second position, with Ben Furhoff making a great fist of the first half of the season, sitting in third. From there, it's a parade of the usual suspects, with Kevin Henderson and Mick Gray filling the other top 5 positions, and a great bunch of guys that I certainly enjoy racing around with, rounding out the top 10. Having missed a couple of weeks myself, I'm down in 13th, but of course I'm hoping to climb back up into the top 10 in the coming weeks. Taking a look at where things are in the inaugural Australasian Super Skips Championship now. After 4 rounds, Luke Whitten, surprise, surprise, is leading that championship also. Come on, guys, somebody make a run at him. He won the first 3 rounds and finished second in the most recent race at Road America. Seriously, though, Luke continues to drive exceptionally well and is now even representing our club really well in the 2K Cup. Kevin Willman's in second place. It's great to see Kevin racing with us. I often see him in practice sessions, and when I say see him, it's usually a brief glimpse of the back of his car as he drives off into the distance. He's really quick, but I've not seen him in an official race. Perhaps it's just not his thing, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but he's certainly making a good fist of this league, and I, for one, am really pleased to get the opportunity to race with him. Luke Page is in third in that championship, and he's going really well in his recent return to regular skippy racing. Speaking of regular skippy racing, the 7th season of Monday Night Lights, which is the championship that I run that uses the Monday night ANZ time official series race to bring people together and try and raise up a really nice high strength of field. Last week's round at Road America saw the return of RRTV coverage, with Bernie and myself reacquainting ourselves in the commentary booth and enjoying a fantastic race with a lead pack of 6 cars battling it out on track. In the championship itself, Ben Furhoff is out in front, knocking Luke Whitten off top spot in at least one championship, even if he is only to put him into second place for the time being. An overseas newcomer to the series, Valerio Pianezza, is in third, and like his fellow Italian countryman Enzo Cantor has done in previous seasons, he's competing really strongly in a strong lineup of local drivers, snaring his first win of the season or the series in the week just gone. Kevin Henderson, who missed his first round in longer than I care to remember this week due to hardware issues, he's dropped down from second place to fourth, with Brad Parkin rounding out the top 5. It was great to be back in the commentator's chair this week. I was welcomed back by a fantastic race along with Bernie and along with all you guys out on the track. It made for a really entertaining night that I thoroughly enjoyed. Well, here we are again, once more at the 1 hour mark or more for the podcast, so I'll start winding things up now. I want to send out a huge thanks again to Matt Malone for making this a fantastic episode. His patience and generosity with his time was amazing. I'll also send out a big happy birthday to his lady Sam, who by the looks of her on the stream over the holiday period must be turning about 21 this year, I'd say. You cradle snatcher, Malone. Surely she's not old enough to be teaching those kids in her class, mate. Seriously though, if you'd like to reach out and engage with Matt and his Grip TV crew, make sure you head on over to his stream at www.twitch.tv/showdown1983 or to the Grip TV page itself, again at Twitch TV /team/Grip TV. I'd also recommend checking out his YouTube channel, which is Showdown 1983. If you search that on YouTube, you'll see his channel there. But I'll put up links in the description of the podcast to help you out. I'd suggest it's well worth your time, as there always seems to be plenty of good stuff going on over there, so make sure you head on over and check it out. Well, that's almost it from me. I'm expecting that in the early stages of next month, I'll be speaking to Nim Cross, the iRacing Chief Steward, which is something I'm really looking forward to be honest. I've got a bunch of things that I want to ask Nim, and if you have any, make sure you hit me up on the iRacing forums or on Facebook at the Top Split page. Just search for The Top Split on Facebook for that one. Also, make sure you check out the previous episodes of the podcast if you haven't already. You can find us in the usual places on iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. Although if you're listening to this, you're probably all over that already. And please drop by to the Top Split webpage at thetopsplit.com, all one word except for the .com, of course. I'm keeping track of all sorts of things over there, including the broadcasts of the Monday Night Lights races, as well as the championship standings for that and the Australasian Super Skips. There's also the odd race video or two popping up on there from time to time from some of my adventures on iRacing. But in honour of Matt's visit this time, I'm actually going to have a crack at streaming the Super Skips race this week. He inspired me to give it another go, so make sure you check that out as well. My channel on Twitch is Flying Hellfish Racing, although you could also do as Matt suggested and just follow iRacing as a game on Twitch, and you'll see me pop up when the time comes. So, well, what an epic episode. A great one to kick off the new year and a lot of fun at the same time. But for now though, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and you've been listening to The Top Split. Until next time, ciao for now.